Hi guys, I am coming to you with another project. Again, it's nothing pre-planned, it was just ideas in my head and I decided to try it with you guys. So, came up with the new little flames roller. I've actually got two versions of this. I've got this one that'll be an ultra or a deep impression, and then this is going to be the ultra deep one. But I'm going to play with this guy today. I just want a very straightforward Mokume Gane, so it's just got minimal multiple levels. It's like 2 or 3 heights to the work, but otherwise the basic patterning is very nicely from Mokume Gane. So, and the next thing to think out is, I can't remember which one's embossing, debossing. I'm sorry guys, I will figure it out when I put this together. I'm assuming that this one's going to be my debossing, so this is going to be called embossing, and I think I'm going to use this one because this is going to push down more of the flame shapes, I think so, but I want to use it in the small, so let's make sure I've got that one. That is this one. Okay, there we go. So, and I was going to use this one, so let's go there. And then I've got these guys again, just because they're fun, brilliant colors, but you can use any kind of mica powders. I've got tons and tons and tons of sets. Another one actually that would work. You know what? Let's not use these guys. Let's use these. So I've got some really good, that is a really, really, really good color. Let's see, it's so hard to read so that's super copper. You guys read that? Shimmer copper, super copper, something like that. That one's got a ton of fire in it. And I don't know if I want to bother with the orange or whatnot. But yeah, so these are, you can get these at Pearl X. There we go. And you can get these at Hobby Lobby. I know that much. And then I think I've got more. Here we go. That's what this is the one I was looking for. This is such a good color. And they call this antique copper. Okay, so we've got some really flamey colors going on there. And let's go with this for Aztec gold. Okay, so let's use these. And then the other one thing I was going to play with this batch was this. And this was the main thought process, and I started throwing every other idea in there. But these are a kit I found off Amazon. Baltic Day, and the color Intense Chameleon Flakes, and color is bronze purple, but I really just see flickery flames in that, so let's do that. Let me put my mica powders up. Sorry for the last minute change. The reason I like these is these are semi-waterproof, so if I'm doing anything exterior, I don't have to seal these overly. I don't have to be obsessive over sealing them, because if you bake it in the clay, it tends to hold up really well. It tends to kind of bond a little, where these are just straight up mica powders. So they're just gonna, if I was using exterior, I'll have to seal these, but since these are going to be in, and I probably will seal this with resin anyway, because I'm going to want the color to pop. All right, so now my Sculpey colors, we've got 18 karat gold and alizarin crimson. I could use regular red. I'm a little tempted. It's just I don't remember which red, but some red. I'm a little tempted to throw this in. I think let's do that, because I'll still get into an orange through there. You guys are going to hate me for this. Where's most of my cutters? I want you and you. All right, I'm gonna make it complicated. I'm gonna do multi-stack Skinner blend. And then I also want to involve some translucent. So this is Primo white translucent. And even regular Primo translucent would work for this, because we're going all warm tones. So if it goes a little warm, it's not a big deal. The white tends to be a little less warm than the regular. So that's why it's the only one I buy, but it doesn't matter either way. So I'm going to get all the clay conditioned out and set up for Skinner blends. And I'm going to show you how I do that. And I will be back shortly. Alrighty, I'm back. So I'm thinking what I want to do here is, I'm laying this out because I want multiple layers. So here, I'm gonna cut that. So that is an end one. Give me just a second to describe what I'm doing with that. So basic Skinner blend. This is a center. No, wait. Center goes this one only. So this is my center. cutting through. That's why I like using glass. So this red is really, really, really firm. Hopefully it won't give us too much grief trying to get this to work out. It's going to mix in something else along with the game, so it might solve some of that problem. But yeah. All right, and then this is the end cutters for a 3-color Skinner blend, or 3 to however many infinite you want. So I'm going to do that and do that. So let me flip that over. And this gives us a perfect little rectangle for our Skinner blend. So there is that much. First layer of the Skinner blend. Now, second layer of the Skinner blend, because I want more of this fiery gold and the translucence of the gold, and I want the red to be less overwhelming if possible. And so I'm going to take a just translucent Skinner blend. Scrap clay that fell in the translucent off of it. All right, put that away for later. Put the alizarin away for later. Okay, all you away. So now this guy slips in there. So I have double-decker Skinner blend essentially. Pull you up off of here and take a towel and all cut marks on my tile because don't need those. And so yeah, we've got translucent to kind of tone down, and then I want the gold to get all the way across into the alizarin. So I want a good blend of alizarin and gold. So the gold touches to here now, where if I'd have done it like this, the gold would have only gone part way into the red. So I want the red to practically become orange with all that gold mixed in it. And then I want to tone down a bit of the redness. Any mica powder base, like the metallic, anything with a shimmer in it, usually is a translucent with a bunch of mica powder, and it is how they make metallic clays. So this is going to have translucent quality to it anyway. This will improve the translucency on here so that I tone it down just a hair. So I'm going to run this through, and you guys have already seen Skinner blends. Just drop it through like that. Fold it over in half. You see the colors already starting to come through that translucence. And hopefully that translucence will tone it down just a touch. And then we're going to put a little more translucent in it in a minute. All right, I'll be back. Okay, so I'm going to stop it partially blended. I don't want to go all the way because I want some of this funk to it. So I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to work on getting it a little bit longer. Sorry, I'm contemplating mayhem here. I still want it longer. All right, I'm gonna make it long. Let's go thinner than that. Down to a 2. And that should get me 3. Yeah, that should be good. Now I'm going to make a matching strip out of the rest of this translucent. All right, let's stretch that down to a 4. So now the question is, am I going to put that down first. So I want the mica colors sandwiched in between probably. So let's do that. So I'm going to start with this little guy. Oh, it's messy. Wow, that's spicy. I like it. I'm not going to use tons of this, but I definitely want a good showing of it. I find my powder brush. We will do. So just gonna kind of screen. All right, dot, 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 dot. These are really fat flakes. So, and it's very not full little container. So I kind of just want it for the fireworks capacity, but I don't want to use up all of it because that will end up turning it into an expensive thing because they're a tiny little container. I don't remember how much it was, but multiply it out like that, it's going to get expensive. All right, put that away before I play with any more of it. No, it doesn't want to go away. You have an away, go there. Ha, away. All right, so let's go a little gold. So now my theory here is I think I'm going to reverse Skinner blend on the translucent compared to the clay. So we're going to get a bit more gold fire behind where this alizarin crimson is. And if I get it on there, it's fine, because I'm just going to flip that over and transfer it over anyway. So probably enough. Now I'm going to transpose colors. So then I'm going to go with the orange over the gold. Way more than I needed. There we go. And then I'm going to go with the darkest over the bright red, because I didn't want the red at the mid-tone on top of the mid-tone. So I want all of these colors to kind of pop and show off. So there we go. And even though, yes, I am painting over those flakes are against the translucent, so they should still really pop on the other side. Okay. There we go. Usually a Mokume Gane has a layer of white and black somewhere in there. I'm not sure what I want to do there because I don't want to kill my translucency game. So I'll still have to figure that out at some point. There, put you aside, and down. Alrighty. So now, extra colors. And then I want this roughly in thirds. So I do happen to have a ruler at the bottom of my table. Sorry, guys. It's about 10 inches. So 3 1/3 and then 3 1/3 roughly. Okay, so that's the darkest over the middle. And I'm gonna put the bright on top. So yes, I like the color transfer and color changing. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so we have our stack. Now we need to get this down to quite thin. I'm gonna roll it this way a little. So is that? God only knows. Ha! Gone. All right. So I want to get it thickened up to where it's about as thick as that is, and then the rest of the stretching is going to go the other way. Okay. And I want to make you go long. Yeah, you can see that bit of that color popping in there. Sweet. You go long. All right, and then I am going to roll this out on a 0. And why does I want to be right the whole way? Right the whole way. Yeah. Do I slice them in half? I think I do. On a 0. I'm going to go ahead and take it down to a 2. Alright, so all of our color change will be within that much, so that's about the same depth as our roller here. So now we're going to have to back it with something. Probably that gold is just the best gold ever, isn't it? That 18 karat, or do I use the crimson, or do I dig up scraps of goldy oranginess? That's not going to be quite enough to do a whole base layer for that, is it? Let's see how much that is. Might do it. So this, I believe, is alizarin crimson and 18 karat gold. I do that mix a lot, and it's very pretty, and it's just got a very, very, very nice amount of fire orange to it. All right, well, let's see if I can get a chunk of this. A little bit lighter. A little bit longer. All right, get this background for at least half of this. You want to do that? Yeah, let's do about half of this for now. And then save this to see if there's something else I want to do. I might want to throw a layer of red and white, or white and black in there or something. So I'm going to save half of that for a bit. This is our backing layer we put in here. I like to use a complementary tonality because if anything ends up showing up later or coming through, it's not a problem. Okay, now, in order to make sure my roller has a good day, I want to make sure that this is stuck down. I want to trim off all this crusty bits. And then for the heck of it, might as well just trim it to the width of the roller so I can take off all the crusty bits over here. Normally it's not a big idea, but because we can, we'll do that. That will make pretty beads. And then I need a piece of little paper. Clean piece, that one's not clean. And varnish this down really well. Most notably starting at this end. I like to kind of roll the edges down a little so that they're just less likely to try to grab my roller details. Although this is a pretty easy roller to use. It's not going to be overly, and then I like to get it wet. My wet's not super wet, so I got a spray bottle. There you go. Spritz. There we go. Now my wet's plenty wet. And take a little paper towel. Shake it, make sure it's not totally soaked. I find standing helps as it makes it a little easier to get even pressure, and my handles definitely help with the even pressure game. So I'm just going to lay it in. Always start a little bit in from the edge. I'm just going to slowly roll. Those flames are wicked cool. Okay. And I let off pressure just before we get to the end there. So I find that's the best way to keep the clay, your roller, from eating your clay, is just not put pressure against edges where you can help it. All right, so now for the moment of truth. Let's get under the flexi blade. And we'll go ahead and zoom in a little for you guys. And do it this way. Sorry, I'm just trying to get everything settled so you see what I'm doing. I put an extra tile and then I lean my belly into it so that I can't pull it past, so it stays nice and put. And it is well stuck down to my tile. So let's see what this gives us. I'm aiming to get all the way through one layer, and that is wicked cool. I think on the other segment of it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to thin it down a little bit more. That's wicked cool. All right, so for a quick descriptor, the debossing, because the deepest parts push the top layer down, my top layer is pushing down in, I did do that right, yeah. My top layer is pushing down in the flames. So if I don't cut under those, so if I go under these, there will be more color change. But if I want those top layers to have a really, see, now I'm starting to get beyond the roller's press. So you see what I'm saying? So I get a more distinct top color here all the way in, and it gives me a sharper relief and whatnot. If I want to go deeper like that, oh, don't do that on accident. Let's just slice a little here and see what happens. If I want to be able to get in there deeper like that, then I would want to, what was I going to say? I'm sorry, guys. I'd want the black and white layer to really start giving me a bit more pop and color change. So I think that's what we're going to do with that other piece, is I'm going to set it up so that we get more pop and color change. So I'm going to do it a little bit thinner and throw a black and white layer or two in there and see what ends up happening. I like this though. This is really pretty. That is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And shavings would be totally useful, but I am just going to ball them up because I have plenty of this to, oh, that's getting pretty. See in there? I feel like I have plenty. Yeah, so I like it. I think this is where it shines the best, is not getting too deep. So let me get the black and white layer in there and see if that doesn't give us a little bit more definition for getting deeper and making it still look flamey. But yes, so far, wicked cool. All right, ball up all the cuttings. Make some pretty, pretty beads. There's some chippy choppy scrappy, probably beads. Always use everything. Actually, this would blend out to a really pretty color too. I bet it'd be a little, nice little orangey coppery color, which is the nice thing about working on one side of the color wheel. Yeah, I'd make pretty beads. Might slice in there and find something interesting. Or I might just stretch it all out and make a single color. All right, so we've got that, and I like it. It's good. It's fascinating. But I want just a little bit more definition. I almost wish we hadn't already sliced and done that once, but it is what it is. So let's get a layer of black. I'm going to do white first, then black. Where do I have white? White! Come here! Where are you? All right, I think white first. Full block of white. Or 3. It's very thin, but still. All right, I'll be back once I have this worked out. Okay, one layer of white. And I do want it on the translucent because that'll make that pop a little bit more too. Okay, one layer of white. There we go. Put it all back in that edge. So we'll have tons of overhang. That's down. And then a chunk black. And do the same thing. This is on a 7. This is a 9, and I plan on sticking it, pulling it, and stretching it to make it a little bit thinner. Oh, no, ah! All right, we'll do the other half of that again. Oh, well. 'Tis the game of play. Let's see how wide. That like that. All right. A little bit extra fat black there. Stretchy, stretchy. There you go. Okay. Alrighty. Over, switch down. Cut. Goes in the scrap pile. Oh, my long blade. Right, and just pull off that. And pull off that. And trim off it. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is back to a 0. Nice bubbles pushed out, everything flattened. Down to 2. Splash a little bit of grease. And just a touch. That gets you a little bit happier. And then I'm going to go to a 3. And 4. I'm happy now because I'm starting to see through that black a little bit. Put that there. And that one stuck. Okay. And then I'm going to go through a 0. And then back to a 2. A little bit more, back down to 3. No, leave it at 3. All right. And then we will go with gold for the backing on this one. I don't think that other chunk I have is going to be enough, so I'll have to put a half a bar. Lift this up. Alrighty, instead of 2, let's go to a 3. That long enough. Down. And spicy. Save that bit of gold. Yeah, I have to go in the scrap pile. All right, so I'm gonna roll this through at that brush I used. That's where those hairs are coming from. Not the dogs this time. And on a 0. Okay. That's a lot to work with, so I'm just going to cut that in half and come back and play with you later. Okay. And let's see. Brush you all down. Okay. And back to our roller. Use the same one again. Of course I was a good girl and I put all my stuff away. All right. Do that again. Okay. And this out a little wider. Let's see if I can get that to not press in. There we go. Yes, deep roll. There we go. Alrighty. Let's see how this one slices out. Everything in the way. There we go. Am I upside down? Haha, I am. I'm gonna say they look more like hearts than flames. Ah, they're upside down. Alright, so let's see the difference in putting that black and white layer in there. And it starts to define our edges a little bit more. But it has to get thinned out a lot so that we don't end up with so much black. So had I not kept going on thinning that out, would have been overtaken by the black and white, even though there's so much more of the other colors in there. That's starting to look like fire to me. That's awesome. Although our scraps will be more mud and less vibrant. That is a thing. Because there is black and white now, and there's transparent in there. So I might want to keep these scraps in a different pile from my other set of scraps. I can even get in here a little deeper. Not that deep, maybe. Oh, that went too deep. Ah. Oh well. There we go. That's the right level of deep. So I can now get into these little flame heads just a little so I get a little bit of color variance in there too. There we go. That's what I want. There it is. Just touch into these little guys. And see how we're getting that really flame filled. There we go. That's looking amazing. The flickeriness. There. That's wicked cool. Okay, so we found it. showing a little. There we go. You guys are not quite through. And some of these spots where it's too much white, if I go a little deeper, I can pull some of that gold behind. There we go. All right. I think I'm liking the balance there. I think that's looking good. I like that a lot. All right, so I'm going to pull this up. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get enough. Not without actually actively trying to make it flame log. So yeah, it's interesting for beads, but I don't think it's going to be overly flame-esque. So I'm probably not going to bother with that for beads. All right, let me go find some cutters and I'll be right back. Okie dokie. So once you get through slicing, I'm going to burnish them up really good and try and get all those layers to start to congeal together. Can't decide if I like it better with the less gold or more gold showing through it. I'm wondering how much of all that mica powder we'll end up getting once we bake and finish them. All right, let's get you lifted and run you through the washing machine. Right, so I ended up needing to go to a 3 before it actually gripped and helped to flatten anything. And then I am going to also texturize the back. So that also on a 3. And we'll just run that through on the washing machine. It'll peel off and give us a nice little texture to it. We even got a little color from the last thing I ran through it. Oops. And you might be harder to get up off of here. Let's see. You did come up. Yeah, it's very thin. I could run through it at first. Okay. Same thing, texturize. Alrighty. And maybe. Alright, so now finish back down just a little bit so you're stuck to your tile because I'm absolutely going to be resining these, and I like to resin over it stuck down to tile. Okay, so let's see. Nice big pendant. Let's zoom in here. Let's see. Well, eventually I will be selling my cutters on Etsy. Just haven't gotten to it yet. I started making them with the clear resin, tinted because the clear resin comes out ugly. I'm looking for the most plain spot, and I'm thinking it's here. Yep, I like that. A little. Could go one shorter, or I'm just trying to not catch too much of the weirdness top and bottom. But yeah, so eventually I'll start selling my cutters. I'm just working on the packaging and getting all figured out. But I've gone to a clear resin with a tint to it because that lets me actually get a little light in when you're going to cut. So if you have let me grab one of my dark ones. Oh, those are flame shaped. So you don't get to see through as much, where if you've got one that you don't get all the shadowing as bad. So you can't technically see through it 100%, but you get enough clarity that you can tell where you're cutting and where your patterning is. I think I am going to go with a set of those, though. I forgot I even had those. Maybe one longer than that. Looks one longer. Okay, and spot that has a handful of flames. That's really good. So yeah, you see it just kind of shadows the edges a little. So I kind of like working with the clear over. And then small ones on the left and the right. So let's see. And it's got the chunks of gold in there. I kind of want some with the chunks of gold in here. There we go. I like it. That'll work. Let's get some of that out of the way so we can see what we're working with. I like that line of flames there. I don't think that's gonna, well, actually it does. Is that same shape? I can't get any bigger, can I? That's the next size up. Oh yeah, I can adjust. I like that. Right out there in case I need it. So now for these guys, I want less of the gold. That's good. That's good. Alrighty. So there's 2 sets there. And then this one. Definitely, oops. Definitely liking the flame shapes for this. Let's use the biggest one over here if I can. That's got some flickering flaminess to it. I don't know. I think in the end, I think it turns out I might like this better without all the black and white in it. Okay. Yeah, that's still a good size for the earrings. This is definitely way more consistent in color. That's pretty. I can do that size of this one. And face the other way. Ooh. Oh, there it is. That's pretty. That's really pretty. I like that one. Okay. Another pair of earrings to go with it. Actually going to come down here for the earrings because there's just a little, seems like it got stretched a hair more up here. I feel like those match that better. Okay, and then those guys. And I think for that last set, I want to do something different. And minimal. Good. Stack, little guys. Stack. You know you did. Oh, oh, that's the problem. You're facing the wrong way. That's what's going on. Look how I get in there. All right, here. I'm still flipping things out of the box. No, stay stacked. You guys almost never get pulled out of there. Stay put. All right, I think I'm gonna go with my old trusty. I just like the shape. Don't know why. This one's long been a favorite. And a pair of earrings. Just a swirl of colors there. And the same thing for here. That's just a good swirl and mix of colors. Okay. There we go. So there, we have a project. And it's ready to go in the oven. And I think I like it. These guys, and note. Come on, zoom. There we go. So with the black and white in there, and just straight up gold tones. So I will come back once these are baked and resined and show you what we got. Okie dokie, these got baked and they have been resined and they are fiery. Definitely love how these turned out. In a little, there we go. I'm gonna try to get around the glare. Definitely lots of little flame-esque. I think I might like this set a little bit better, but I think there's a little bit more definition in the flame work in the other set. But either way, I'm super pleased. This fell off. Oh, and so you can see how the back comes out. All right, so the reason I bake on the tile is I like to be able to resin on the tile with them stuck down. Even still, once in a while, it'll start pulling the corners up a little bit. So occasionally I'll get a little lift, and while it's still hot from being under the UV light, if you just pop it off and just kind of give it a little bit of a, you can get it to soften its curvature. But if they're just flat, not stuck to anything, they're gonna curl up a lot because they're such thin pieces. So, but I don't want to make them much thicker because I don't want like super heavy pendants. And by the time you put resin on, there's a little weight there. So I don't want to do any more. But anyway, so there's a set and another set and a third set. But yeah, so the back, we did that little bit of texturizing, and because we put it on the tile, it gets shiny. So these, I might just clean that little fine edge up with sanding, with a little sander. But I'm probably going to leave the shine on the back, because it actually came out really good and it matches the front. Sometimes I'll sand it down so it's more of a matte finish. Let's see, are there any pieces over here? I don't see anything sitting here that looks like it's got the matte back. I know, I've always got hundreds of things sitting around. There we go, there's one. So, oh, no, that's still shiny. Didn't sand that one yet. They're in my pile of things that I should go do something with at some point, but I haven't gotten to yet. But yeah, so it's just, nope, that's another shiny one. That one I like shiny, so that one's staying shiny. Anyway, yeah, so you can take just a little sanding block and tone it down, and that works really well. But yeah, so that's my Fun Flames tutorial with that new roller. And I will see you guys when I get another great idea and remember to turn the camera on. Have a good one all.